You can change the world. Learn from proven change makers from all walks of life. They'll show you how to raise money, invest for impact, and so much more. You can start small, start today, and never quit. You can change the world by strengthening your superpowers. Now, welcome to the Superpowers for Good show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe. Everyone, I am so thrilled to have you all here today. We've got kind of an exciting conversation coming up today. We have with us Navroze Mehta of uh, Mela Artisans, and they've just got an amazing scale, amazing operations that they're doing to support artisans, especially in India. This is going to be a great discussion, so you don't want to miss it. Stick around with us. Navroze, welcome to the show. We're thrilled to have you.
Thank you. Nice. I'm happy to be here.
Well, it's entirely our pleasure and privilege. Uh, Tell us about Mela Artisans.
Sure. So, Mela Artisans was actually the initial brainchild of my daughter, Sonali Matharu. She had just graduated from NYU and was spending a lot of her summers in India. And during her senior year, she was looking at what was happening to artisanal communities in India, because from the years 1980 to 2010, we had lost 30% of our artisanal base. And that was alarming and a call to action. And so the project she had been assigned to look at was, why was this happening and what could be done to systematically change that? Because as you can imagine, India's heritage crafts, which include wood carvers, metal workers, marble workers, embroidery, all of that is like the second largest contributor to GDP and is a hugely important part of every artisanal's existence. So that's what led to Mela Artisans being created. We worked on co-founding Mela Artisans in 2010 and have since then had a very clear vision and mission of empowering artisanal communities so that they can survive, work well, and be able to continue generationally to protect and preserve heritage crafts. And we've done that through excellence in design and launching at like high-end stores like Neiman Marcus, Bloomingdale's, Bergdorf Goodman, but also selling across the country in many different department stores like Home Goods, TJX, so that there's mass appeal to everything that Mela does.
Well, it's amazing. Now, I think you have some of those artisanal products right there at your desk. You want to show off some of what you've got in your product line?
Yeah, and this will show you the richness of the crafts that our artisans work, and we help them with design infusions. So what I'm holding here is a handcrafted. Everything we do, by the way, is handcrafted. This is a beautiful handcrafted wooden bowl, all handmade in India. And like just to show you like a couple of wooden products, this is another beautiful tray that's made in India, all with mango wood, sustainable wood. And then there's also like 100-year-old techniques like bone inlay or resin inlay. These are all done like,
So
if
that's
you
a is that a box, a jewelry box kind of
it's
thing?
jewelry box, exactly, Devin. It's a jewelry box that is, and each of these pieces, just to give you the sense, every one of these pieces is handmade and it's in a bed of resin. So you can imagine the work that goes into each of these. And just to continue that, this is another good example of a mixed material. Wood, it's a candle holder, it's a beautiful candle holder. You have three different materials. You have bone inlay at the bottom, you have a beautifully turned candle holder in wood, and then you have a brass top. So you see how you can mix and match materials to create, exquisite pieces of work, like it's almost like a piece of art. And then look at the intricacies of this beautiful piece. This is again a bone inlay piece. All of these designs are our designs. And just to give you a little bit of another material, this is what the Taj Mahal in India is made of. It's the beautiful marble from the Taj, the same quarry, and this is on a brass stand. And again, look at the carving in the marble.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
Yeah, it's really exquisite. And then just to finish, if you'd like a couple of other materials, this is all mother of pearl coasters, for example. And finally, I'm kind of, and this is from India. This is the last piece I'll show you from India. This is all metal work with all hand foiled gold hand foiling done here.
Oh, wow.
So it's really, you can see how creative you can be. And I'm excited to say we launched in Vietnam, and we just this is a product from Vietnam, and this is all again mother of pearl, beautifully laid in a tray. And we are now reaching out to our Vietnam artisans and also to Bali, Indonesia. So in addition to India, we are now expanding our sourcing base.
That's brilliant, brilliant. As you think about what's brought you to this place, I wonder if you could give us a sense of two things. Prices.
Mhm.
Some of those things look like they're probably pretty expensive. Those are fabulous items. And then give us a sense of your scale of operation, your revenue, and some of those kinds of things. Because you're not a startup, like you said. You and your daughter founded this what, a dozen years ago.
Yeah.
You've got some traction.
Yes, thank you. I think it's been a lot of hard work, and it takes a village. We've all worked hard on this. It's a very important project for us. We give about 3,500 artisans full-time work every year. That's the most gratifying part of this. It's also very gratifying to take products that we have designed and showcase it to the world, and showcase how exquisite all of these techniques can be for all of these artisans, that these artisans produce and show in many times. This would be the first time that someone might be seeing this technique for their home. So I think that particular element of you know getting it to scale was, we were pioneers to a great extent in doing that, because the artisanal community in India especially is very fragmented, and making them understand the product like qualities that were needed was a big, it was an important mission, and which is why it has taken us so long to scale. But we have scaled, and we continue to grow our footprint. We now sell to well over 1,000 boutiques across the country, and I'll cover the price question in a minute. But we also sell, in addition to boutiques, we want this to be what someone would consider an affordable a luxurious product like this bowl, but it needs to be affordable. We want it not to be in a luxury bubble. We want everyone to be able to afford our products. So that's what Mela's goal is to make it reachable to everyone. And to, of course, you pay for all of the craftsmanship and the workmanship, but it needs to be at a level that we believe is reasonable. So I think so depending on the work, if we were doing it at a mass market retailer, the work might be a little less intricate, but it's always of beautiful quality. The quality is never sacrificed. So for example, this tray is very simple, and so you might be able to buy it at a much more affordable price than you would buy this intricate box, for example, which has had a lot more work in it, but doesn't mean that the quality of either of the products is any less.
Yeah, yeah. So, what are some of those price points? You know,
So, I think you can, the price points for a tray like this could be anywhere from $20 to $25, which would be, and this is 100% handmade wooden tray. A box like this might be $25 to $40, which is again a jewelry box, and something that's even a little more artisanal and like made of a more precious material like this might be about $50. So I think they're
wow.
all affordable. They're not like in the $500 range.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean the honest truth is, I was expecting you to tell me some of these pieces were 500 or $1,000. They're
Exactly.
just absolutely magnificent.
Thank you. And
Uh,
that's the goal. The goal is to have you feel that you've got a luxurious product, but at an affordable price, and that you feel good holding and having in your home. That's the goal.
as we think about these, these artisans, tell us a little bit about your relationship with the artisans. Are you employing them, or are you contracting with them? Are you buying from them regularly or sporadically? How are their lives impacted by working with Mela artisans?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So we thought long and hard about whether we should quote unquote employ artisans in a central location, perhaps in India or wherever. And we felt that the goal should be empowerment. We wanted many of these artisanal techniques are centered around the home. And so we wanted the artisanal clusters to be in their own village, in their own town. And then we wanted to empower them and give them orders and provide them the infrastructure that allowed them to be successful closer to where these crafts exist rather than pulling them out into Delhi or Mumbai or any other big city. So our philosophy was more about empowering them to do their work right close to where it has always been done. So these artisans are actually clusters of artisans that they happen to be entrepreneurs themselves, and we have showcased them. We've shown them how to export in many cases. We've shown them how to be profitable, and sometimes they weren't because they were just taking jobs at prices that were not appropriate. So we always make sure that they have profit in the jobs they take. So it's financial, teaching them about finances, showing them how to export, talking to them about quality, and and showing them beautiful new designs that are on trend, because if you don't sell, there's no impact. So giving them, being in the US and sharing with them new designs as opposed to perhaps tired designs that they've been doing for many years, is very refreshing for them, so long as we don't sacrifice the techniques that they use, so long as we know what their techniques are and how they can do it and produce a bowl. I'll use the same example. This design is our design, but they've been making carved bowls for hundreds of years. So creating a fresh contemporary design is something they love to do. So so we've had multi-generational. Our goal was to preserve these techniques, these wood carvers, these embroidery workers. And the goal is so that the second generation that is coming up, may have gone to college or school, still believes that their business is thriving and is doing well, and they want to continue in that business. And we have many examples now of how that has worked.
No, that's great. Now, you are now raising capital via
Mhm.
regulation crowdfunding offering. So your customers, our audience, can
Yeah.
invest in your deal. Tell us a little bit about how people can learn more about that offering.
Yes, so we are really excited to kind of democratize investing. It's been like this, in this little bit of a bubble where investors typically have had to invest quite significant amounts of capital, usually about $25,000 or more, to participate in any kind of offering in a startup environment. So the crowdfunding platform that's been launched in the last few years have been a really brilliant way to allow anyone in the audience to participate in what they believe in, and invest in it and see the growth and participate in the upside and share in everything that Mela has to offer. I would encourage you to check out our crowdfunding platform. It's on invest and for, I believe the minimum investment is as low as $500. So instead of doing a typical $25,000 investment, you could invest as little as 500 and feel you're an owner of Mela Artisans.
Yeah, this is really cool. We're here today with Navroze Mehta of Mela Artisans, and he's got amazing products that he's offering that he sources primarily in India from artisans who are doing amazing work, and then selling those products at thousands of stores and on Amazon.com here in the United States. Just amazing work. Stick around. When we come back, we'll talk to Navroze about his superpower. So you don't want to miss this conversation.
Join us at the 5th Annual Reggae and Crowdfunding Conference June 20th at the prestigious Westchester Country Club in Rye, New York. This year, we're expanding our focus to include crowdfunding deals, covering online deal marketing tactics. Visit reggaeconference.com to learn more. Save 20% with code SUPER20.
Want to learn from the world's great changemakers? Find your superpower. Subscribe to the Superpowers for Good newsletter at superpowersforgood.com. Make your strengths into superpowers that will change the world. Join the super crowd today. Superpowers4good.com.
Hope to raise money from the impact crowd. Good investors are as interested in community, social or environmental impact as you. Connect with Funding Hope, an SEC-registered FINRA member crowdfunding portal to learn how to raise capital from the impact crowd. Scan the QR code now.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here today with Navroze Mehta, the CEO and founder of Mela Artisans, doing amazing work on supporting artisans in India, bringing their products to sale in the U.S. We're going to shift gears now and talk to him about his superpower. Navroze, you've done amazing things. We haven't even touched on all the work you're doing in the medical space with genuinely innovative, life-saving technology there. Mela Artisans is kind of a passion project for you that you do with your daughter. What is your superpower?
Well, I was, since I was a very young boy, my father was a maxillofacial surgeon. And I was born in England, grew up in India. And he taught me an important life lesson that it's all about giving back and making a difference and changing the world. He had this, he was a brilliant surgeon and he refused to, for example, do any cosmetic surgery. He only, he reconstructed faces after cancer and burn victims. So, and he did this in many cases at no cost at all for people who could not afford it. And it was a good life lesson for me to see how you can impact the world with powers that you have. You may call it superpowers. I call it just regular powers that you hopefully can use in a meaningful way. So I feel that, I certainly felt that whatever skills I had in this space, which in my case, I work in the medical space, and I work very deeply for now in the diagnostic space, and I'm actively working on bringing a colorectal cancer screener, a blood test called colorectal screening, which is a silent killer, and unless it's detected early, can impact a lot of lives. So the company that I founded and that I'm the executive chairman of, New Day Diagnostics, is meant to bring that test to market. It's the only FDA-approved blood test for colorectal screening. But that's just an example of ways I would like to make a difference, save lives. We also worked on an ovarian cancer screener prior to this and other tests. But getting back to Mela, both Sonali and I are very passionate. Sonali now lives in India. She's working deeply with women entrepreneurs in the mountainous Himalayan region of India now. She lives there for the last 10 years after she worked in the States for a long time. She grew up here, of course. And I've been deeply engaged with all of our artisanal clusters, and my mission is using the connectivity I have. I belong to this group called YPO, which some of you may have heard of. It's a global CEO group for the last 25 years. I think using the connectivity and the network to get awareness out there that there is a significant change that can be made in the world in whatever area that you believe you can make a difference. In my case, of course, it was in medicine or in the arts in this case, and there's lots more to be done. But I think we affect 3,500 artisans in a very deep way with our orders. We give them full-time work, and my goal is 10,000 artisans within the next couple of years. So there's a lot to be done, and it's a mission, it's a vision, and it takes a village. And I would encourage all of you to join me in that journey.
Yeah. So as you think about your superpower, I feel like you're trying to tell me that your superpower is essentially your passion for doing good, for solving problems, helping others. Am I hearing you correctly?
I think that's a very important element to it. I totally, Devin, agree with you that whatever you do it with complete, passion and jumping in with both feet. And I do that with everything I believe in. I think that's one of the important elements. The other elements is just like I would say perseverance, and not you're going to have a lot of challenges, and especially if you're in a pioneering space like we were with Mela, a lot of bumps in the road, a lot of challenges. The pandemic gets thrown at you, but we survived it all, and because we believe in what we were doing. So I think if you call it a superpower is being passionate, being caring, being empathetic, and always believing in doing the right thing, and being persistent.
Yeah, excellent. Uh, If you were to look at your experience, can you identify an example of a time when you used that superpower to solve a problem or accomplish something that you're proud of?
Yeah, I can think of many times when it looked very challenging, and I just brought up the pandemic as an example of that, one of those very, very challenging times. I felt that that was a time when everything shut down. We had orders on the water from large companies like Home Goods and others, and they all got canceled, even though we had firm purchase orders. So here we were with our artisanal community in India. There was no safety net. We had our own team in the States without, really with not knowing what was going to happen next. It was the early days of the pandemic. So, being Mela artisans as we were, we decided to it was one family. And I told our India team that there will not be any layoffs and we will support you. We have to do this together. And the same thing with our US team. We got on a Zoom call every day, and we actually used that time to transform the company into a digital Amazon company. So we used that time when no one had any work to do something that we had meant to do for a long time, but do it as best we could with the expertise we had. And our India team had really no work, honestly. They didn't. And it didn't matter to us. We wanted to support them because, unlike in the States where there is a safety net, in India, there unfortunately was not one. So we did not lay off a single person, and every one of our artisans got fully paid for all of their products. I wrote a letter to the CEO of Home Goods explaining to him how important it was that our orders were reinstated, and they were good enough to respond, and ultimately all orders were reinstated, though it took a while, and we had to support our community till that happened. So I'm proud of how Mela as a company, as we as a family, supported our entire network during a very difficult time.
Oh, that's great. We've got time for one quick tip. How would you coach people to employ your superpower?
I think there's no quick fix. I think empathy, being compassionate, being passionate about everything you do, and don't take no for an answer. Like if you believe in what you're doing, you're gonna get knocked down several times, and many people will tell you they can't do it, and that you shouldn't do it. But if you believe in what you want to do, I would encourage you to stick with it, and I think you will prevail.
As we wrap up, will you take a minute and remind people how they can learn more about the investment opportunity and also tell people how they can find the products in stores and online? And of course, tell them how they can connect with you. You know, people are going to appreciate the amazing guy that you are, the amazing human you are, and they're going to want to connect.
Thank you. It's very nice of you. But I think I would love to hear from your audience, from our audience. You can connect with me. I'll start with that at my email, which is N for Neil, N Mehta, Mehta, at Mela Artisans with a plural S, melaartisans.com. I'd love to hear from you. So please email me. I'll be certain to respond to you. In addition, you could, I'll start with our website. You can see any of these beautiful products on melaartisans.com. Again, Mela, MELA, artisans.com. And you can see our products actually all across the country in beautiful stores, boutiques, and so I'd encourage you to go on that treasure hunt and hopefully
Great.
find
And
stuff.
the crowdfunding link
The
quickly?
crowdfunding link, just not to forget that, of course, is invest.melaartisans.com. And I'd love for you to participate in that. We'd love to
Fantastic.
see smaller investors and any investors of any size join in. So
Well,
thank
thank
you.
you very, very much for being with us, and we wish you every success in the great work you're doing.
Thank you, Devin. I really enjoyed it. Thank
All
you.
righty, let's do some good.